In this video, I'm going to share with you 7 mistakes that people make when trying to lose weight. If you want to control what you eat, control your body, and control your life, then click the subscribe button so you never miss a video. I have made every mistake you can possibly make when it comes to establishing healthy eating patterns, losing weight, and overcoming eating disorders. Unfortunately, when I go into Facebook forums, I see people doing the same things. It's almost like we're programmed as humans to perform these kind of habits. If you're not losing weight, then you're making at least one of these mistakes, and probably more than one. This video should save you a lot of time and a lot of frustration. So let's get right to it. The first mistake that I see a lot is you're going too fast. You want results yesterday. There is this great lie in the industry that says that you can lose a lot of weight really fast. If you haven't watched my previous video on why you shouldn't lose weight fast, you should probably do that now. But it's really tempting to believe that you can lose a lot of weight in a short amount of time, and it's just not true. Well, it's true to an extent. You can do it, but you're going to be really miserable, and you're probably going to put the weight back on. You just can't beat biology. I don't know why we want success overnight. I mean, I guess I do. It's because we want everything now. We're not designed to wait. We don't have a lot of delayed gratification. We just want everything now. To me, it's just really annoying when I see advertisements and commercials that say that you can lose 5 pounds the first week or 20 pounds the first month, and people buy it because it's just our natural inclination to get the most resources and to get success with the least amount of effort. That's why you never see anything like the 6-month diet or the 12-month diet or the 18-month diet or the 24-month diet. People just want everything now. They don't want to have to wait. What you should do is you should make the destination the journey. And I heard this from Steve Olsher. I've made another video about Steve Olsher that you should watch. He's a speaker. He's an entrepreneur. He has the podcast Beyond 7 Figures. Highly recommend it. But he said, make the journey the destination. What that means is you need to enjoy the process. You need to look forward to every day, because every day you're going to be closer to your goal. That's what makes life exciting. That's what makes life exciting. You don't want just everything to be handed to you. It wouldn't be fun. You wouldn't really be proud of it. If it didn't take any hard work to accomplish a goal, would you really be proud? If you won the lottery, you'd probably feel really excited when you won it, but then your happiness would probably just go down to where it was before. In fact, that's what a lot of research shows, is that you just kind of go back to baseline when you win the lottery. So avoid the whole lottery ticket approach and don't look for overnight success. Real weight loss is slow, steady, and kind of unsexy. I hate to tell you that. If you have 30 pounds to lose, give yourself a year to do it. Why is that a bad thing? A year isn't that long. I mean, think about 7 years ago, right? Where were you 7 years ago? You don't even remember. So, but you've repeated that 7 times, right? So a year isn't that long. Avoid these advertisements and these products that tell you that you can lose weight really fast. You won't, and you shouldn't. The second mistake people make is they have unrealistic expectations. Now, this kind of is like the first one, where you try to lose as much weight as you possibly can because you want to look good for the summer, right? Well, losing 5 pounds in a week is possible, but you can only do that if you go to a Chinese buffet and then take a laxative afterwards. You can lose 5 pounds, but it's really just the 5 pounds of crap that you just ate. It's not 5 pounds of fat, which is what most people are looking to lose. You just can't metabolize fat that fast. I mean, it's possible, but you'd have to be in a concentration camp, or you would have to be like those guys who were under the stadium in that study back in the 40s with Ansel Keys, and he basically starved them. You couldn't do that today. But that's the level of confinement you would have to do, or you would have to be locked in a room and supervised by a physician. You don't want to do that. What you should expect is 1 to 2 pounds a week. That's what most people can sustain. That's the rate that I lost it at. Sometimes I lost 1 kilogram a week, which is about 2 pounds. Other weeks I lost half a pound, then 1 pound, sometimes 1.5 pounds. It kind of varied, but it wasn't super fast. It wasn't like I lost 20 pounds in 3 months. You don't need to do that, and you don't want to do that. The third mistake people make is they change way too much too soon. So they're really bad one night, and then the next day they're supposed to be perfect. I call this the New Year's effect. On New Year's Eve, we go out, we drink a lot, we eat a lot, we eat, drink, and be merry, and then the next day everything is just supposed to change. Well, it doesn't happen like that. Change is a more gradual process. It's not one and done. Okay, it's not like you behave one way one day and then you behave differently the next day. If you want to change on January 1st, then you need to start the process 60 days ahead of time. That way you have time to make mistakes, try different experiments, and then see what works and what doesn't work. Because really, in order to change, you have to try multiple approaches before you get to the right result. That's why I really like to experiment in my life. Experimentation, I think, is kind of the key to success. Unless it kills you, you don't want those kind of experiments. But you don't want to change all of your habits in one night. Just start with micro changes. Just start with one change tomorrow, and then another change, then another change, then another change. And after a year, you'll look back and wonder, wow, I can't believe I was like that a year ago. I can't believe I did things like that a year ago. I can't believe I ate like that a year ago. What was I thinking? It's remarkable how much change you can make in 1 year. We overestimate how much we can change in one day, but we underestimate how much we can change in 1 year. It's like Bill Gates said, people overestimate how much they can accomplish in 6 months. They underestimate how much they can accomplish in 10 years. And so the concept is kind of the same. You really need to think long term and not short term. So my advice to you, get the process started today, but then be patient with the process. That's how success comes. It's one day at a time, right? It's not overnight. Overnight successes were planned 5-10 years ago. That's how it works, guys. The fourth mistake I see is people are constantly modifying their plan. So they choose a diet, let's say keto, and they do keto and they get results for 2 or 3 weeks, and then they kind of hit a plateau and then they say, okay, keto doesn't work anymore. I'm going to go do paleo. And then that works for a little bit, and then they say, I'm going to go do Mark Hyman's diet. Or I'm going to do what I saw on Dr. Oz yesterday. Or I'm going to cut out grains. I'm going to cut out sugar. I'm going to cut out meat. I'm going to cut out this. And they're never sticking to just one program. You're better off sticking to a bad program for the long term than to stick with a really good program for 2 or 3 weeks. You don't want to what I call diet hop, where you go from one diet to the next, because you're always starting over. And what a lot of you are lacking is that momentum. I remember when I was struggling with my eating disorder, I was binging and starving. I think that was the stage I was in. I remember thinking one night, what if I could just get some momentum? I realized back then that if I just got a little bit of momentum and I started to get the ball rolling, then I would eventually one day arrive at my goal. That was a long time ago. It took me many more years to finally overcome that eating disorder, but I had the right idea. I needed to get the momentum. And when you're constantly changing your plan and you're going from one diet to the next, you're always stopping that momentum. Stop doing that. Get some momentum. Do keto for a year. Do paleo for a year. Do vegan for a year. Whatever, just stick with it. Quit changing everything all the time. Quit consuming all these magazines and watching all these shows that tell you to do this, because they're all going to tell you to do something different. And that leads me to my fifth mistake, and that's getting too much information from too many sources. I remember when I was starting my coaching business, and I would buy all of these different programs, and I was getting advice from here and there and there, and it was all conflicting advice, and I just racked up a ton of debt and didn't really help me. Same thing with my eating disorder. I was getting advice from here and this doctor and this doctor and this magazine and this magazine. I was constantly modifying things, and I lost that momentum, and I never knew what to do. I couldn't tell who was right and who was wrong, because I was always changing the plan and I was always getting conflicting advice. One of the best things I did was I stopped consuming media related to diet, nutrition, weight loss. I just stopped. It wasn't overnight, but I gradually decreased the amount of time that I read that kind of stuff. Now, I still read books about physiology and eating behavior and nutrition because I find it interesting, and I'm always interested in the latest findings. But for a time there, I realized that it was only hurting me. So try not to consume that kind of stuff for at least 30 days and see how it works. The thing is, if you're watching this channel and watching this video specifically, you probably know too much. You've probably been reading and watching too much content. That's why you should be watching this channel, because I can decipher what's true and what's not true and what works and what doesn't work. My advice to you, stop consuming so much content and so much media. The sixth mistake I see a lot of people making is they cut out everything. I remember I had at one point this huge list of foods that I couldn't eat, the forbidden list, right? Everything like sugar and flour, anything that was processed, anything that had this ingredient or that ingredient. At one point, I cut out all animal products, or then I cut out sugar, and then I cut out grains, and I cut out this. I was constantly modifying my diet. I was cutting out all of this stuff. At some point, you cut out everything, right? Everything is bad for you. Oh, fruit, that has sugar, can't eat that. Oh, vegetables, that has some compound in it. Or quinoa has saponins, or something stupid like that. Or beans have lectins, can't eat that. Eventually, you're just eating water, right? Because everything is bad for you. I find that a lot of people get in trouble when they try to cut out everything and they demonize stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. You should probably minimize the amount of sugar and flour and processed foods that you're eating. We know that people who eat a lot of that stuff get diabetes and obese, and they're really unhealthy later in life. So that stuff probably should be towards the top of the pyramid, like the smaller quantities. But don't cut out everything, especially all at once. There are some foods that you should cut out if you have an allergy to it, or if you just don't like it, or if you have trouble digesting it. You should probably cut that stuff out. But don't cut it out because you don't feel like you can control it and you feel like you're going to binge on it. There's no one food that you have to binge on. Food can't make you do anything. It's just chemicals, guys, right? Ultimately, you decide what you're going to eat. No one food can derail your entire health, and it can't derail your diet. No one food is the problem. So my advice, keep everything in your diet, but just modify the quantities of those foods. My seventh and final tip is you give up too soon. Like I said earlier in the video, losing weight is a long-term goal, and it's often a good goal. A lot of people could probably drop 10, 20 pounds and they'd be healthier. They'd feel better, they'd look better, they'd have more self-esteem, they'd be able to move faster, they would be able to recover from injuries faster. There are a lot of good reasons to lose weight. Impressing others isn't a good one. Topic for another video. But one of the worst things you can do is just say, oh, this doesn't work. Keto doesn't work. Vegan doesn't work. This diet doesn't work. Or this plan doesn't work. Or this book is BS. Or Kevin is lying to me. I'm going to stop watching Kevin. Don't do that. But you give up too soon because you're not seeing results right away. Well, what was the first rule? Or the first mistake that I talked about in this video? The first mistake is you're going too fast. You want to lose everything now. You want to lose 5 pounds a week for the next, 10 weeks and get to your goal as fast as possible. I'm telling you, that first mistake is probably the worst mistake of all. But you don't want to give up because you're not getting the results. You have to stay the course. If you stay the course for 12 months, 18 months, you're going to thank yourself in the future. And like I said, 1 or 2 years is not that long, especially 1 year. If you just stick with it for 6 months or a year, I promise you're going to get some results. And that's so much better than stopping and starting, stopping and starting. That's what kills progress in anything. So I hope you found these 7 mistakes very useful. I want to know which mistake you're making and which mistakes you've made in the past. Let me know in the comments below. And if you're making mistakes like this, then I have good news for you. You can visit my website, eatwithcontrol.com, and I have some free training there that will show you how self-awareness and not willpower is the key to stop overeating, stop binge eating, and to establish healthy eating patterns. If you don't have time for the video, you can speak with me personally, and there is a link in the description box below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out some of my other related videos, and I'll see you next time.